There's a kind of man you almost never see online. Not because he's hiding, but because he refuses to perform. While everyone else is rushing to post proof of their existence, there is a man who sits back, watches quietly, and chooses not to show his life to the world. And the funny thing, his silence speaks louder than everyone else's noise. His absence becomes its own presence. His privacy becomes its own kind of power. But the question is, why? Why would a man choose to disappear from a world obsessed with being seen? Let's step into the psychology behind men who don't post on social media, because once you understand these men, you see them differently. And if you are that man, this will feel like someone finally put words to what you've been carrying. It begins with the hook most people miss. A man who doesn't post isn't avoiding the world. He's avoiding the performance of it. Because deep down, he learned a truth that most people never want to face. Validation is a hunger that never ends. And once you start feeding it, it owns you. So he steps away. Not in fear, but in freedom. These men understand the power of privacy. They don't broadcast every high or every low because their life is not an audition. A new car doesn't need applause. A heartbreak doesn't need sympathy comments. A quiet win doesn't need the algorithm. They've discovered that when you stop living for an audience, life becomes real again. Food tastes better. Moments feel fuller. Happiness stops being something you curate for strangers and becomes something you experience for yourself. For these men, peace is personal. Sacred, not something the internet needs to witness. Then comes the discipline. Most people don't post because they're private, but these men don't post because they're disciplined. They've mastered the urge that destroys most people, the urge to prove something. In a world where everyone is flashing highlights, showing off lifestyles, competing for attention, this kind of man simply chooses not to play the game. And it takes strength most people don't have. Because disappearing requires self-assurance. Staying silent requires control. Resisting the temptation to be seen requires a mind that isn't ruled by insecurity. Their confidence doesn't come from likes. It comes from life. But here's the part that unsettles people the most. Mystery. There is something magnetic about a man who doesn't reveal himself online. People feel drawn to what they can't fully understand. When someone can't read you, can't categorize you, can't predict your next move, their curiosity rises. Women feel it. Friends feel it. Coworkers feel it. People want to know what he's thinking, what he's doing, who he is when no one is watching. And ironically, by not trying to be interesting, he becomes the most interesting person in the room. He speaks less, but people listen more. He shows less, but people imagine more. He posts nothing, but somehow stays unforgettable. That is the silent power of mystery. But the truth goes deeper. Many of these men are intensely focused individuals. They're building lives, not feeds. They're investing in reality, not perception. While the world argues in comment sections, they're working. While others scroll endlessly, they're learning. While people chase trends, they're chasing legacy. These men use technology as a tool, not a leash. They don't need to track celebrity drama. They don't compare themselves to influencers. They don't measure their worth through others' highlights. Their eyes are on their own path. Their energy is on their own growth. Their time is spent watering their own grass, not checking if someone else's is greener. And then comes the final truth, one almost nobody talks about. Many of these men don't post because they understand how dangerous social media can be to the human mind. Not just the distraction, not just the comparisons, but the prison of perception. The moment you post often, people freeze a version of you in their minds. Even if it's inaccurate, even if it's unfair, even if it's not who you are anymore. You become a character in their story, not a human living your own. But the man who stays offline remains fluid. He keeps his identity flexible. He keeps his growth unobserved. He keeps himself safe from unnecessary expectations, opinions, and judgments. His life belongs to him, not the internet. So who is this man really? He is not hiding. He is protecting. He is not disconnected. He is selective. He is not invisible. He is simply uninterested in performing. He is the man who lives in the real world while others drown in the digital one. He is the man who values depth over display, focus over attention, peace over applause. Like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next video.